let's focus on the Melomon system. So let's do a Q&A starting now just about Melomon. So if you have your burning Melomon questions, ask in chat now, and then we will transition to another topic after. But right now, let's focus on Melomon. If you have any Melomon questions, ask away, and let's see if we can break it all down. So Vsol asks, should I increase passive Melomon skill or star Melomon? So it depends, Vsol. It depends on the Melomon. So the one exception to most rules is going to be Demon Hound, because Demon Hound is going to be in your main Melomon slot, and you're going to want to do both star ups and the passive skill as well. And what I've always said is, if you want to know a good priority, get your Demon Hound to 1 star for the awakening reduction, and then start upgrading the special skill after that. That's a good approach. Al Carter says, how many Melomon legendary parts to get the Melomon? Carter, I think, unfortunately, if you collect individual fragments of a Melomon, it doesn't count as getting a copy of that Melomon. Can anyone confirm? I believe that's how that works. You cannot, you actually have to pull the Melomon, right? If you get 5 fragments from the guild shop, for example, of a Melomon you don't have yet, it's not going to give you that Melomon, right? I'm just making sure. Yeah, you can't combine the fragments at all. You need to actually pull the Melomon for it to count. Yeah, okay. I just wanted to make sure before I missed something that I didn't know about. So yeah, that's the answer, unfortunately, is there's no combination of fragments that will end up in giving you a Melomon. You have to actually pull them, unfortunately. So that's just something to keep in mind to answer your question. Rabbit Hole asks, wish list on Jan 22 or 28? Well, from what we know, it's coming very soon, but I believe 22, but we'll see what the devs announce. Lancelot asks, as a healer, what Melomon skills are best? So Lancelot, I would say, if you're asking specifically about special skills, I would recommend Arcane Resonance, which increases attack every 20 seconds until the end of battle. I would also recommend a Book of Answers, which you can see here increases your crit rate, haste, and determination as well. This is going to be great for healing. All 3 of those are going to increase your healing output. And finally, you'd probably run Invisible Friend, which gives you an additional attack per party member on the field. Now, that would be the best because ultimately your heals are going to be increased by more attack equals more actual healing output, and more crit, haste, and determination is going to increase your your crit heals, your double healing, and your speed as well. So Chris asks, what's a good 3rd slot special skill for DPS? You're gonna run, Chris, depending on the condition, you're gonna run either Sharpness of Claw whenever you know that you're gonna have a condition where you can get the boss's HP below 50%, or you can alternatively run either Book of Answers or Arcane Resonance, depending on what DPS class you are. Most testing we've done has shown that Arcane Resonance pulls ahead of Book of Answers, but it depends on your class. Rhea asks, what's the ideal way to level up your Melomon? To be honest, that's a little bit of a bigger question. I actually made an entire video on how to level up your Melomon, but the best way to approach it is to pay attention to your evolutions and to pay attention to at what stage of evolution certain criteria unlock for those Melomon. So you're going to want to, generally speaking, prioritize getting to certain evolutions on all 3, your main and 2 supports, evenly, except for some conditions like getting to evolving level 10 on your main when that comes, in order for you to unlock the final skill slot, for example. So those are the kind of considerations, but I'd recommend you watch my video on a detailed video on how to level up your Melomon. Reed asks, does the Smarty special skill only increase 1 of the 3 stats in this description? Let me take a look. Yeah, it's a random, every 20 seconds it randomly increases. I believe it's one of these 3, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's crit rate, haste, or determination every 20 seconds. I don't think it's all 3. Can someone confirm? I believe it's one of the 3, not all 3, because I think it would say and, if not. Yeah, it's one of the 3. Just wanted to confirm that. Yeah, I double checked. It's one of the 3, not all 3, but it's still really good. So every 20 seconds you randomly gain 8.8% of either crit rate, haste, or determination. Good. You see, I'm very careful not to give misinformation. I always double check if there's something not 100% sure on. So let's see. I've got my Blade Hound to 5 gold stars. Should I keep looking for the Blade Hound or more fragments of CC2 Melomon? Or should I choose Demon Hound next wishlist? You should choose Demon Hound. So Miguel D asks, why am I using the plus HP blue skill in my Melomon? So let me explain why that is. And this was one of the things when I said, when we were going over the patch notes and we saw that they were changing the move XP from per move to per slot. Right now, I'm running the blue move here. Let me show you why. Oh, it's easier for me to show you. I'm gonna reset this from 35 to 0, and I'm gonna get back 38k materials, and I'm gonna swap in a legendary, and I'm gonna see how far I can get with these 38k materials. And I can't even get to level 31. So as a legendary, I can only get to almost to 31, but not to 35. So that's why I'm actually running the blue, because it allows me to get a higher level and therefore get a higher Melomon resonance deployed Melomon move bonus before running a legendary in that slot. So that's why you get a higher move bonus by having more XP available, basically. So Blazwak asks, do you take into consideration the level 7 moves bonus when balancing your stats? No. So let me just make something clear. All of these bonuses in the move bonus here only apply during awakening. So when you see here, because you see here, during awakening increase the haste, during awakening increase crit rate, during awakening increase determination, during awakening, etc. So these stats only get added during awakening, so you should not factor them into your stat calculations when building stats. So that's how that works. Now the one thing is where it says Melomon stats plus X percentage. Melomon stats plus X percentage, is gonna apply even outside of awakening. That's just increasing your Melomon stats. One second, guys. So anyway, let's see here. I wish we could paint Melomon's IP. I agree. It would be nice to be able to paint Melomon for sure. So sorry, guys. Just had to sort something out. Eugene asks, when you got your mythical moves, is it random or you get to choose? Yeah, I chose all the mythics. So as you can see here, I basically chose the mythics that I knew I needed those stats for my build. So for example, I went to a mythic crit and dodge and a mythic expertise and mythic crit damage because I needed more of those stats. That's why I did that. Is Echo, Ika asked, is Echo good for Nightweaver? Yes, definitely. Very good. So for Nightweaver, you would run your turn Echo plus one of either Sharpness of Claw, Arcane Resonance, or Book of Answers. That would be the best for you. Dudang asks, what's the complete description for Chaos Gift? I'm pretty sure you can see that from the camp menu here, right? Because I know it cuts off. Oh, here it is, yeah. Every 30 seconds, 0 to 3 of the following effects are randomly generated for 15 seconds. Ignore 10% of enemy's defense, increase attack by 10%, and increase mastery by 10%. So I know, yeah, that's the full skill description there. Because I know it cuts off. I know it cuts off when you try to click it in the normal menu. Ajib and Josh, when the next wishlist be? We've already spoken about it many times. The developers have announced it's coming very soon. Very, very soon. As in next few days with the new New Year's Year events. Neox says, if I want to build a defensive build, should I use blue moves for attack slots? Neox, in theory, you could do that. I might not recommend that as being the best thing, but you could in theory do that. You could do that, but I don't know if that would necessarily be the best approach because you do also need some offense as a tank as well to a certain extent, but you could maybe do that. Blake asks, is there a max level for Melomon moves? Which is an interesting question. So Blake, to answer you, there is technically a max level for Melomon moves, but as we've now unlocked the imagined reality system, right now we can get moves up to level 60. Then in the next class change, we'll be able to get to level 80, and then level 100, and then level 120. So each class change, you get a higher cap on your mythic skills. And it's limited by class change. So it's going to go from 60 to 80 to 100 to 120 and so on. So that's how that works. Is level 11 worth it or stay at level 10 Melomon bonus stats? You should go you go all the way. You should get as many as you can. It's absolutely worth it. DD Cannon, it's absolutely worth it. Try to go as far as you can. You can see here this goes up to level 140. I don't know if that's the absolute limit, but you know, a level 140 is as far as the deployed Melomon bonus goes here. What are the recommended Melomon passive skills? It depends on your class. But I've gone through it basically. DPS would be running your turn Echo and either Sharpness of Claw, Book of Answers, or Arcane Resonance. A healer would run Book of Answers, Arcane Resonance, and Invisible Friend. And a tank could run any combination of, you know, maybe they'd run Reappear, they could run HP Recovery, they can run Defense Enhancement, they can run Cleanse here, they can run as well. There's an HP enhancement, I think, as well. I don't know where that is here. Anyway, there's an HP enhancement here as well somewhere. But that's the ones you would run as a tank. What are the best 3 Melomon for tank? Well, I basically just answered. Why is Demon Hound suggested for healers, asked Solchu? So the reason, here's the thing you have to understand. There's 2 things you have to keep in mind. So the reason why Demon Hound is being suggested for everybody, including healers and tanks, is not because Demon Hound is better for healing. It's because everyone should be trying to get as many Demon Hound copies as possible because of a chest system that unlocks when Gen 2 Melomon arrive. So when Gen 2 Melomon come, you're gonna have to basically, the way it works is the more individual dupes you have of a single Melomon, the more bonus chests you're gonna get for Gen 2 Melomon. So that's why everyone's saying you should get Demon Hound copies. It's not because it's better for healing. It's because everyone should be collecting Demon Hound copies. The best Melomon for healing is going to be Snow Leopard. because the main skill is going to increase your haste here. So that's by far the best healing. So yeah, that's basically how that works. Zine can ask, is it better to focus on leveling up offensive moves or balancing all moves? I'm at class change 1 and I don't know if the Melomon bonus stat is worth to reach. So Zine, to be honest with you, it's pretty important. It's the move bonus is pretty important. I would most likely do evenly, and if you don't want to invest too much in your defensive stats, you can do what I've done here and just run blue rarity defensives to get extra XP for the other slots. So that's one approach you can take. But otherwise, I would try to definitely balance it because these add up a lot. Like, when you have a higher level and you get the additional stats during Awakening, your Awakening will supercharge your damage up big time. Will Generation 2 Melomon be Mythic or still Legendary? I'm not sure, Carter. I actually haven't seen that. You got it, Solju. Neox, if your Blade Hound has more copies, you should still try to get Demon Hound copies. Because I think everyone will recommend you try to get Demon Hound copies. Uncle Zorb says, what blue moves am I running? I'm just running HP times 3. I'm running HP, which is toughness times 3. You just basically, when you do your create moves, just go here and uncheck this here, so you're no longer auto-consuming those move qualities. I have this up here because I only need legendaries now, basically. But you would uncheck those two, and then you would collect the blues